On my way out of Northfield, it feels like it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 11:43. Just got off the track with early play. You know, coming off the car, you get on the left line hard, and the dust kind of come up and made a break. I'm like, Jesus, they're going to chart this horse with a break. He's had a history of breaks, but he's usually been good lately. And I got away 8th, and the front was hot. And I said, I'm still going to catch cover around the last turn. I moved him over. Man, didn't he make another break? And a worse break. I said to Jason pulling up, I think this guy's due for a little vet work. You know, the problem is we don't train him hard in between starts, especially if he's getting back in 7 days. So I think a lot of the things that bother him, you see at top speed, right? His feet bother him a little bit. His knees bother him a little bit. I think his left stifle bothers him a little bit. These are all things that bother him a little bit. And on a one-on-one basis, they're probably not that bad. But when you combine them all on a hard track on a night like tonight, I just don't think he was super comfortable. And I think we just, you know, I think we tried to stretch 3 or 4 weeks into 5 with him, not doing a whole lot of vet work, and probably wasn't the best course tonight. So we'll have to get him, get some work done to him and get him back in next week. And man, I don't know what kind of trip he was going to end up with had he not got rough coming off the car. Maybe it would have been a crummy trip anyway. I don't know. But I would like to run that one back, to be honest. So anyway, not the finale I wanted, and quite frankly, the entire night was rather underwhelming. Disappointed. I knew when I moved Rosetta in the fourth race, she was trotting the turns comfortable, but touching that right hind in the straightaways. I know when Jason qualified her in like 2.5, he had to hold her together pretty good. We've trained her hard since, but training her 4 even quarters with the bit in her mouth is much easier than, you know, asking her to sprint in the last turn and then setting her up for a stretch drive. And I was concerned that halfway around the last turn I was going to lose her coming out of the turn, and I did. So the easiest fix and the easiest remedy for this is quite simple. Put the hobbles on her. Now she'd have to qualify in Ohio, try to get her in at the Meadows next week, put the hobbles on her, and I'm sure there won't be a problem. This filly was just about to trot 2-1. She was going to be an easy second tonight, 2 minutes and 1/5 on a very cold night, considering that you know, a lot of those races didn't go where we thought they would. I think a mile and 2 minutes in the maiden was a pretty good mile. So she's ready to probably trot 58 and a piece at the Meadows, and in the maiden, that's more than enough to head to the winner's circle over the last little while anyway. So we'll see if we can get her in next week. That would be business number 1. She can't race in Ohio without a qualifying line. If we can't get her in, then I suppose we could qualify her with the hobbles on. I don't have a problem doing that, but my first option would be to race her at the Meadows next week. So we'll be contacting Tim about getting her over there and getting her entered in Pennsylvania. Up next was Tenacious Hanover, and no, we had another horse up before Tenacious Hanover. It was race number 5. I'm trying to forget the night already. Race 5, Watch Your Mouth. You know, similar situation. Jason and I spoke after early play, but this stemmed from an earlier conversation with Watch Your Mouth. And this is the one thing that everybody has to understand. When you got a barn full of good horses, it's much easier to race them than it is a barn full of bad horses. Now, the people that race those cheap claimers and non-winners of one condition claimer horses, it's way tougher than racing an open trotter, an open pacer, middle of the road horse. When they're not good, you could still drive them accordingly and get decent money and know when you come off the track, hey, tonight this horse wasn't awesome. I think we need to work on making a few adjustments to get him or her back to 100%, right? A good horse, or even a remotely good horse, can function with a tidy driver on 85, 90%. I'm not talking soundness. I'm just talking about overall, their overall ability that particular night. Could be a lot of things bothering them, but can still end up with a decent race if you drive them accordingly. A bad horse, when they're at, and I shouldn't say a bad horse, I don't mind either of the horses I spoke of. I actually, although, you know, early play made a break tonight and he's a bumpy going thing, I actually like driving him. And a horse like Watch Your Mouth, don't mind driving these horses because they're okay. But okay horses have to be near 100%. Their blood has to be perfect all the time. They have to be tight. They have to be sound. They have to get a good trip. And if any of those things falter, you're left with a poor outing. And that's what we had with Watch Your Mouth. I actually drove him pretty tidy tonight, and he still couldn't snag a check. I'd asked Jason after. They said, well, he trained him up this week, and then we jogged him light afterwards. Could he have tied up a little bit? Could he have bled a little bit when they trained him? Either or. Could be both. Could be one or the other. You got to keep a closer eye on that. And with early play, I think, as I said, we just maybe pushed that trip to the vet back a week further than we should have, and that's on us. And we'll get him patched up for next week, and away we go. The shining moment of the entire night, although Rosetta's mile was good, don't blame that on her. She was interfering. It has turned into an almost similar situation to Gypsy Hill, and we can mitigate that. Just put the hobbles on her, give her a little help in the straightaways. You're not going to have any problem with her making any breaks. And when that right hind cools down and she starts to get away from it stronger and trot more square, you can take them off at that point. There was no concern about her making a break in the turns. The one thing I did like about her tonight was she was behaved. This is the same Rosetta that ran away with me in Lexington this summer. She was very behaved, very subdued, went about her work very methodically, just couldn't function enough down the lane, just kind of chewing at that right hind, and she just gave up and rolled off. But let's give her a little help, put the hobbles on her. And Tenacious Hanover was very good tonight. I told you guys, a little surprising that he raced with the somewhat of the eye of the tiger in him last week, although it was a slower mile and down a class, which Jason was right and pointed out after. I said, no, just wasn't quite as good tonight. He said, well, he was up a class and they did go 2 seconds faster. Yeah, you're right, 100% correct. So, Tenacious was closing at the wire. The one thing I can say is that last week he came off the car strong. Tonight he did not. Why? I'm going to say you got to continue to work hard on his feet. A lot of that stuff, in fact, almost all the time when you see horses, we talked about this with Time the other night, falling off the gate, not coming off the gate sharply. More times than not, the feet are bothering them a little bit. And although I thought Tenacious Hanover's gait was good tonight, I did move him out. And obviously Kurt's horse started to struggle a bit. I moved him back in, got a chance to move him out again, and when I called on him, he was pacing as hard as he could pace. So no faults in that regard, but I think we do got to have him a little stronger at the gate, which means we're just going to work a little harder on his feet in this cold weather. So that was tonight. I really thought we're coming in with a great shot with Rosetta, coming in with a very good shot with Watch Your Mouth, a very good shot with Tenacious Hanover, and a very good shot with early play. Truthfully speaking, if we had a really lucky, really good night, we're heading to the winner's circle 4 times. And instead, 0 times. We ended up with what? A 3rd, a 4th, a 6th, and 8th. Not the night we wanted to have. Let's turn the page, turn over a new leaf for tomorrow. Looks like money. Looks like money. Memory and Imagination both got the outside, but both in good spots. Yo, Mister, what did he draw? Where's he at? 3-1, post 3. Good spot, middle of the gate. Should be good, or inside of the gate. Century Legion outside tomorrow. I'm much less worried about him than I am money. And outside with Memory, outside with money, outside with Patrick the Piranha. Jeepers. We get the inside with Leggy and Yo Mister. So a decent day again tomorrow. We'll see how things shake down. We'll take it as it comes, but for right now, a little deflated about tonight, but not without reasons. As I said, Rosetta hobbles. Watch Your Mouth just need to be more diligent with this guy and with early play, and with Tenacious Hanover, actually raced pretty good. So that is it. A wrap on Tuesday evening. Wednesday coming up tomorrow. 6 horses going postward from the stable. 2 states, 2 countries, 3 tracks. Good luck to everybody.